for the YouTube subscribers. Well, subscribe already. Hit the fucking like button and subscribe before I knock your ass out, man. I ain't fucking with you, man.
UFC 286, Edwards versus Usman, part 3. Live from the UK this time. We're fairly deep card, like the main event. Of course, the co-main event, very exciting. I'll be breaking down the main card like usual, guys, providing free picks, leans, and what to avoid. From a betting standpoint, I don't think it's the greatest card, especially if you like the favorites, which I do like a handful of favorites in this card, so we have to be creative, right? So I got to find some outcomes, maybe some distance props, maybe some round betting. So I'll discuss that. Also for clients, I will have a client card available out on Friday after the weigh-ins. Systemsportscapping.com is where you can get that. Start profiting long-term in all sports, guys. End of the year guaranteed profit, all sports, whether it's a little profit, whether it's a large profit. Obviously, it does vary from year to year, but we are profitable in all sports every year. And I just don't just handicap the UFC, right? We handicap all sports. PGA right now, NBA, NHL, NFL, MLB's around the corner. We're going to have some MLB futures being sent out here shortly to clients. Back-to-back good future outright markets in the MLB. I handicap the future market and single game market throughout the year in all sports. System capping on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, guys. Give me a follow over there. Weekly free video pics on TikTok and Instagram. I'm trying to build up my TikTok. I don't love doing TikToks. Again, I don't get on there and dance. I just do videos like I do here. They're just short form, 60 seconds. So I know a lot of the market is moving towards short form stuff. So just trying to get my name out there. I already got about 500 followers there on TikTok. So I think that's pretty decent. 5-0 on free TikTok plays. So definitely a good start over there. Just trying to draw some different clientele, different fans to my content. Vegas 71 update. Let's do an update here. Not the best card. No profit last week. Probably my worst card of the year. Wasn't able to find any winners. I was on the Yan side, right? I was on Yan. Pace was just too much for Merab. Hats off to Merab, mixing up with the takedown attempts and striking. Even though he didn't have success with the takedowns, the threat was always there, and it looked like it affected Yan. Yan just doesn't seem himself. Anymore. 4 out of the last 5 fights he's lost. That's wild. I never would have thought that. Very high on Yan. It's just something doesn't seem right. The matchups, I guess, aren't great for him. But, hats off to Merab. He was able to hold up the pace for 5 rounds. Cardio was not a concern. Definitely not. He had the most takedown attempts, I think, in like UFC history, or at least that division. And, it's not I don't think he has great striking. I think he's just the volume, and he's just so active that he's hard to fight. That's all I think it is. He's just very difficult to fight. Not that entertaining, to be honest, unless you like guys that, have great gas tanks and just are so active with, multiple different paths of winning the fight, trying to take down the fight, using his striking. Some people could say it's entertaining. I personally don't. I just think it's more of a headache to fight. It's not a guy you want to fight, right? Like similar to Sterling, and they obviously train together, so you can see that their styles are similar. Obviously, Sterling's the much better grappler than Merab, but Merab, I think, has the wrestling, the striking, and he puts it all together nicely. So interesting to see what he's going to have next, because he's been saying he doesn't want to fight Sterling. He's been saying that he's not going to fight Sterling. So we'll see what happens against Henry, right? Henry and Sterling, we'll see who wins that fight and then go from there. But yeah, Merab might have to be fighting back, right? Because right now he's probably number 2 in this division. So interesting to see there. I also took a shot on Span due to the value and the price, plus 140. Could have went either way due to the early exchange. And I expected it to be wild and probably end in the first or second round. And that's what happened here. And he just got caught in grappling exchanges. Span did have a couple attempts with submissions in that one, but wasn't able to get it done. Weekly update, guys. 6 out of 8 profitable UFC cards this year so far. 70% on accuracy in bets. And long term is what really matters here. 65% best bets over 6 years. Guys, long term. 65% best bets over 6 years. We don't have a lot, guys. I'm selective with my best bets. Right now, we're currently on a 6-0 best bet run. And that's like over a year. like year and a half. I don't bet a lot of best bets. They are best bets for a reason. When I place a best bet, it's a larger unit. You're going to want to back it. I do provide best bet. Just you can purchase best bets when I have one. Won't have one on this card. We have one pending in the NHL market right now, which should hit any week now. So looking forward to that. And I should have them throughout the months coming up here. A PGA profitable event last week, thanks to the prop market and live outright market. I hit with Scotty Scheffler plus 1,000. Hit that early on in the week. I think it was on Thursday live, I bet it. Fourth outright of 2023. Wasn't at the start of the event. That's what I usually count, right? The start of the event or first day as well. 4-0 matchup run right now. We hit a matchup run, got lucky. Rom withdrew, who got lucky there. Over 72 units in profit long term in the PGA. A couple down weeks in sports, NHL, NBA. We had a down week. Last week. Just got beat by some upsets that I didn't see coming. Good spots for teams, and they just didn't pull it off. 65% last 2 seasons, just under 20 units. NBA, 60-35 last 2 years. Lower volume in the NBA. Just under 20 units in profit as well. NFL reminder, over 60 units of profit last 2 seasons. Rams outright plus 1,200 2 years ago. Exact finals winner KC over Eagles plus 1,100. Not much future, well, none at the beginning of the season. Future market was not good for us in the NFL compared to the 7-0 it was the year before. But our playoffs was great. Playoffs were great for us in the NFL. So congrats to those guys that jumped on board in the NFL just for the playoffs. We hit biggest unit, full unit on exact NFC finals was Eagles and San Fran. That was a plus 220, great value there. And then obviously this exact finals winner. Guys, like this video. Like this video. It helps me out a ton. Like I mentioned, MLB futures will be out shortly for clients. So if you're interested in that, handicap. I won't be betting a ton. Low volume in the MLB throughout the year. Not a lot of value in the regular season. Let's hear from my friend Meredith before we get into this card.
Guys, Meredith Gorman here, and are you still not subscribed to Matt's channel? Well, if you're not, hit the subscribe button because he's giving out free picks each and every week. Hope you have a good rest of your day.
Shop around. Shop around for the best prices. Have multiple books so you can get the best numbers, the best props. Some book have this prop, some book don't. Have multiple books, guys. Can't stress that enough. I stress it every week. Usman minus 260 versus Edwards plus 220. The rematch. Yes, this time in UK Edwards' backyard. And we got some value here at plus 210 on Edwards. Right, we do have some value there. We all know the story coming to this one, right? Usman was dominating from round 2 to 5 and then got caught with the head kick late in that fight. Right? Edwards showed he did improve his grappling and wrestling in the first round. He was able to reverse Usman and get Usman down to the ground. Actually, around when it was his round, Edwards. Right? So he won the first round, lost all the other rounds, and then caught him late with a head kick. Right? It's tough to say, right? I have Usman as the better guy, the better fighter due to his strength advantage. Right? He has that strength advantage. He has that wrestling advantage. I do think he has the work rate advantage as well. And he has great work against the cage. And that's where he was able to control Edwards, right? He's a stronger guy in there. And that wrestling just shows that it's better, right? You can't just get better in wrestling and train for a wrestler. It doesn't work like that. Even though Edwards has improved his wrestling over a long span, 3-4 years. But it's never going to be as good as Usman. And Usman just showed his strength in wrestling late throughout that whole fight and just got caught late, right? He got caught late in that fight. So it's tough for me to say, Edwards was the better guy. Edwards was complaining about the altitude issues. He's not going to have any here. And I just like the bounce back spot for a champion like Usman. It's not like, Edwards dominated that fight or he caught him in the first or second round. Usman just took it off. Wasn't smart later in that fight. I thought he should have just brought it back down to the ground and grappled. he decided to stand and give Edwards that little glimmer of hope, and that's where Edwards caught him with the leg kick. You know, shoutouts to Edwards. I don't think it was a fluke. Some people think, oh, it was a fluke, this and that. It was a long shot miracle, yes, because you had to have Usman standing in that position, and you had to have Usman not coming forward. Usman wasn't coming forward and just standing there. So Edwards was able to set up that kick over time. He had, 20 seconds, if you look, of no activity from Usman to set up that kick. So that's where Usman went wrong. And that's where he's going to go back in the game plan and probably not give Edwards that range and time to set up these kicks. And Usman's going to be able to put on the pressure, I think, grapple and wrestle, and that's just going to be his game plan to win this fight. And that's what it was the whole fight. Just in the 5th round, he thought he had it in the bag, kind of took off that 20, 30 seconds, and Edwards was able to plan that kick. He plans that kick in training. They showed him multiple times, if you guys watch the videos. He sets up that head kick. That's what he did. And he caught Usman with it. Congrats to him. Not a fluke. It just a lot of things had to go in Edwards' favor for that kick to be set up like that. And it's not going to happen again, right? He's not going to head kick him again. If this fight does stay standing, I can see Edwards winning this by points, but it's not going to stay standing. Right? Usman's going to mix it up just like he did in that first fight. He's the better wrestler. He's the better grappler. He's stronger. So he's going to go to his advantage there and win this fight, in my opinion. I don't love this 260. I can't bet this 260. Does it fit into a sneaky 2-fight parlay, which I usually like doing for clients? We will see. I would have to lean Usman by decision if I had to bet this fight. That obviously is a favorite on the betting card as well. Usman just doesn't really finish fights, and it's not like he's going to submit Edwards on the ground. He's not going to knock him out on the feet, in my opinion. Edwards is going to keep his distance in the game, in the striking game. So yeah, Usman by decision would be my lean here. But yeah, Usman to win the fight 260. Would I be shocked if Edwards win this fight? No, I wouldn't be shocked. But I have Usman winning this fight 7 out of 10 times. So if you look at Edwards, his advantage is coming to this fight. 2 things, I think. One, obviously, he's fighting in his backyard. Usman not in his normal routine, fighting in UK, practicing and training in some small gym. Distraction with Gaethje there as well, I think. They're training for his fight as well. That's something there. And obviously, Edwards could be in Usman's head. That's a big KO. That's a big KO from Edwards. That could be in the back of his head, right? So it's not something I would go all in on Usman. I do like Usman to find a way to get it done, and it has to be in the grappling and wrestling department. Could be a close fight. Could be a close fight if Edwards is able to, limit the grappling and wrestling, and I just don't think he will be able to because he didn't in the last fight. Right? How much is it going to change 6 months? I told you guys, wrestling you don't get over 6 months. You get over years and years. And yes, Edwards has improved it over years, but it's not at the same level as Usman, who's been wrestling forever. So my play is going to be Usman here. Not going to go all in on it, like I mentioned. Don't love the price at minus 260. Value with Edwards at 210. It's just, I like the bounce back spot here from a champion like Usman. And he's just been hungry to get back in there to redeem himself after that head kick. Co-main event. This is a fun one, guys. If you could bet, fight of the night, what's going to be the fight of the night, this would be the one here. And it probably would be favored on the books if you were able to bet that. Gaethje plus 190 versus Fiziev minus 230. It's going to be a fun one, very high level. Probably not the best fight to bet with your own money, but we got two heavy-handed strikers. Very high-level strikers. Guys that love to get hit, too. These guys get hit fairly easily. I could see someone getting hurt or finished in this one. If you can bet on this fight, you probably want to maybe look at a finish prop to get a better price. Both guys leave their chin out there and can get hit, guys. We've seen Gaethje get hit in multiple fights here as of late. Even though he does take it fairly well, he's getting dropped in a couple of those fights, right? The Chandler fight, the Oliveira fight. But this time he's not going to have to worry about Oliveira, his submission game, right? And we see Gaethje struggle when guys are much better grapplers. He's not a great grappler. He can wrestle, but Fiziev, not a grappler, right? Doesn't have really submissions under his belt. I expect this fight to be on the feet for 3 rounds. And who's going to outpoint the other guy, in my opinion? I just think Fiziev's the more cleaner and technical striker. I do think Fiziev, obviously he's the kickboxing coach, Muay Thai coach in Thailand, right? Very high-level striker, smart striker, has great kicks, roundhouses, spinning. He does everything, right? He's not going to just come and box you. Gaethje obviously has great leg kicks as well. It could be a close fight. I probably would lean Fiziev if I had to bet. It could be a knockout, but I could see this also going 3 rounds. I don't think Gaethje's going to wrestle, even though I do think he has a wrestling advantage. However, Fiziev has great takedown defense, guys, at over 90%. So I don't see Gaethje having much success if he tries to go there. So if this stays on the feet, I think Fiziev just wins due to his technical striking. Gaethje's live at plus 190 due to his heavy hands. We just haven't seen Fiziev really get hurt. In his first UFC fight, he lost by finish, but it was a wild hit, like spinning kick. That's how he lost. It was a long time ago. I think Fiziev has improved a ton. Younger guy. Gaethje's been through some wars. How much does he have left is the question. He could easily win this fight. Just for video purpose, I'll bet Fiziev. Probably not going to make my betting card, guys, due to this fight being vulnerable on the feet, and either guy could get finished or hurt, right? So when you look at that, you don't see a guy have really a clear-cut advantage anywhere, because I don't see that. I don't see a clear-cut advantage for either guy in any mixed martial art here. Fiziev lean, I guess, due to the technical striking. You can say Gaethje's maybe a little better wrestler. I just don't see him getting the fight down there. Right, and if he does get it down there, Fiziev's going to get up. It's not like Gaethje's going to hold you there. He's not like that. He's not going to have a submission game for you. So it's a tough bet to place your hard-earned money on it. Again, I'm going to lean Fiziev. I just think he's in a better time period of his life, coming in his own. And I do think he could fight for the title one day. So he does have to get past Gaethje here, and then he's not far from that. So video purposes, I'll take Fiziev minus 230. Gonna make my betting card? No. I'm not gonna bet this with my hard-earned money or clients' money this weekend. Nelson minus 370 versus Barberena plus 1. Another price that's not ideal here, because I mentioned at the top of this video, the prices are kind of a little too high to back all in here, and you're getting big favorites here. I get why Nelson's a high favorite, maybe not this high. I have him at minus 250 due to his inactivity. He's only fought once in the past 3.5 years, guys, keep in mind. But he does have a big wrestling advantage here, and he should be able to just bring Barberena down at will. And that's where he can find a submission, right? Barberena has been submitted twice. He got submitted in his last fight to Dos Santos. But, Barberena, if you look at his fights, if you keep it on the feet, he has a chance to win, right? Very durable, not going to get knocked out on the feet. And he throws volume. So this fight does stay on the feet. Barberena could win this fight at plus 290. It's not going to stay on the feet. Nelson's game plan is just going to be able to wrestle, get this fight down, maybe find a submission. Right, so you're not going to bet Nelson minus 370. It's just not going to happen. I suggest not to do it. If you're going to bet it, you're going to have to take Nelson by decision or Nelson by submission. Those are the only two ways I have Nelson winning this fight. Obviously, there's only one other way, but and it's a toss-up. Could he find a submission on Barberena? Yes, because he's probably going to have him down on the ground on multiple occasions. So that threat for a submission is there. Nelson has multiple submissions in his UFC career. Remember, Nelson's fighting top-level guys before he went away for 3 years. Gilbert Burns, Leon Edwards. Losing to those guys, sure, but he was fighting the best guys before he got hurt. It's just the long layoff. He came back, he fought Soto. He did enough to win, unanimous decision. But Barberena is a tough guy. So I can see Nelson winning this by decision for sure, or finding a submission at some point. Barberena is just not great on the ground, guys. Not great on the ground. And look at the guys he's been beating. Barberena has just been beating all old guys that are looking to retire, right? Matt Brown, he beat. I thought he lost that fight, but they gave it to him. And then Lawler, he beat. Impressive win in that fight. And then Dos Santos, he got a big step up in Dos Santos, and Dos Santos just kept bringing him down. And then he found the submission there. Video purpose, I bet Nelson. You want to improve it, you got to look at an outcome. And, I'm going to lean the decision due to Barberena being tough, but the submission is a threat there for Nelson. Nelson's great on the ground with a submission game. Maya plus 150 versus O'Neal minus 175. Interesting one here. O'Neal, I like her. I'm high on her, 9-0, still undefeated. However, she's looked vulnerable at times in her past couple fights. And she got hurt in her last fight, so we didn't see her for a bit, right? So some time off. Last time, it wasn't that impressive of a performance. Split decision win over Roxanne Modafferi. Maya's fought the best. Maya's fought the best girls, guys, in this division. Chookagian, Faro, Shevchenko. And it's coming off a win over Moroz, who I like. Moroz, good grappler, good wrestler, but Maya was able to use her striking and movement. She looked good on her feet there. She did look good. And remember, Maya had that good round and stole that first round against Shevchenko due to getting her down to the ground and holding there. I think Maya's going to be the better grappler here. I do think she's probably a little stronger than O'Neal. Except for O'Neal's great Muay Thai fighter, good kickboxer, can strike, right? Younger, she's probably quicker in there as well. But if Maya could win this fight at plus 150, I cannot lay minus 175 on O'Neal. Hasn't beat anyone I'm impressed by yet. And coming off an injury. So I can't lay the minus 175 here. Am I going to bet Maya plus 150? No. For video purposes, though, I'll play the value here at plus 150. It's a women's MMA fight. Anything can happen at the end of the day. It's a close fight on paper. So when you look at that and you have to bet a fight, you're going to take the plus money. So I have this fight being close. I have Maya having the experience advantage, grappling, and strength advantage. I'll take the plus 150 if I had to bet this fight. We got a fun one, guys, to open up the main card. I'm excited for this one. Vettori minus 280 versus Dolise plus 230. Two big boys, right? And there should be standing for most of the fight. Keep that in mind. I expect this to probably go 3 rounds, and 3 rounds on the feet. You know, I do think both guys cancel out each other on the ground in the wrestling. I don't see Dolise. Dolise wants it there, in my opinion, because he can find a submission. But I just don't see Dolise wrestling Vettori down to the ground. Vettori has good takedown defense. He can wrestle as well. I just see this being, you know, a kickboxing, boxing style fight on the feet, and that's going to favor Vettori due to his volume. Right? Dolise doesn't throw a lot. He looks for that big one shot, right? Just under 3 strikes landed per minute. He is not high volume. He looks for the big strike. He looks for that mistake that you make. And he wants to get the fight down to the ground to find a submission. He does have some submissions. We've seen that nice one last time against Hermanson. I think he got fairly lucky due to the scrambles in there. He was losing that fight to Hermanson, guys. Hermanson was dominating the fight in the first 2 rounds, and then Dolise caught him. Right, he got lucky there. I like Vettori in this fight. This is going to make my client card in some aspect. You know, I probably lean a decision here. Dolise, fairly tough guy. Vettori doesn't have a ton of knockout power. He kind of just outworks you and outvolumes you. So I expect that to happen here with Vettori. I'll back Vettori. Minus 280. Not in a straight bet, of course. Could make a 2-fight parlay to improve that price. But yeah, I gotta look Vettori here. He's fought the best of the best. Dolise not fighting anyone significant besides Hermanson, who Hermanson, you know, kind of take a step a little back as a top guy in this division. And I don't think he was the better fighter in that fight. He just caught him with a leg lock late in the fight, or a calf slicer. So, you know, I got to take Vettori here. Also, Vettori, fun factor, he's never lost 2 in a row, and he's coming off a loss. So take a look at Vettori. That's going to be my favorite play probably on this whole main card. That will do it, guys. That will do it. Exciting card. I think it's an early start because it's in UK. So definitely watch out for that. It's pretty good card. Pretty good card. Not a great UFC card, but we have some fun fights at the top for sure. Like I always say, guys, bet smart and know your limits. Take care.